Hey, what's up, everybody? Wade, you tapping in for another court chat. Just today want to discuss something fun, kind of an interesting topic for me, and that's your inner monster and how you should appreciate it. I'm sure you've probably heard Jordan Peterson discuss that. Shout out to him. He spread a lot of valuable information in regards to that. But just my own personal experience tackling my own inner monster. How times I felt like I had to quell it to kind of fit in. And then ultimately, when I was going through one of my darkest periods, this dude showed up to rescue me. So again, inner monster. For me, when I was in my youth, I was definitely a monster. I had an intense drive for ambitious endeavors. If you heard me talk about it before, I started selling candy very, very young, and out competing some of the school vending machines. That's how I came into financial aptitude and got my entrepreneurial skills from a young age, you know what I'm saying? And that kept me coasting. I've always been a grinder. I've always been a go-getter, self-starter. I've enjoyed helping. I have problem-solving skills, critical thinking, managing inventory, all this kind of fun stuff coming right out of the noodle out the gate. So my monster was on savage mode from beginning to kind of the end, in a situation with my first child's mom. Things didn't necessarily go so hot. And as a result of that, I did a lot of self-reflecting, and I kind of killed off a lot of that stuff because I got scared of it. It served me poorly, or I didn't use the skills properly in a situation where I should have. You know what I'm saying? And it got away from me. So that was unfortunate. And then there was another situation, where I ended up going to jail, where a lot of that spirit was reawakened because I was in a very unhospitable environment. A lot of testosterone flowing around with a bunch of other untamed monsters. So having that inside me definitely helped me kind of excel in that arena as well, because as much as it was an uncomfortable environment, it was something, unfortunately, that I was kind of used to, being raised in the gladiator situation that I was, youngest of 5 brothers, so always had to kind of fight for survival and make sure that I was proving myself and standing on my own too. So when I was in that jail environment, those traits, those memories, those skill sets, that I guess desire or innate understanding that battle could be on at any moment, that flared up all those kind of dormant mindsets, and again, mind frames that would help you accelerate and survive in a situation in a world like that. And then when I got out, I had a lot of that, but I got a job in a real kind of upscale area. So mentally, I quelled myself down again because, again, all of those traits weren't necessary in that environment because they were kind of night and day. And I didn't need to taper it off so much, because at some point, I ended up losing a job, losing kind of control over my own monster, and then I slid into that kind of depressed sadness. It was a situation that I'd never really been in. I allowed myself to experience a ton of negative emotions and kind of dwell in that. It's in that video, it was a luxury because I was able to comfortably reside in those negative emotions and wallow in my own self-pity and feel sorry for myself for that 90-day period before I had to pull out of it because I didn't want to end up actually going homeless and making my situation even worse, so I would be even sadder, So that was a situation on itself. But this is, again, the nature of your inner monster and how comfortable you are with it. And while it may need to be adjusted, over time, you know? And then again, at this time, I was switching between all these different hats. Being an alcoholic and a user, trying to be a professional, also trying to be a socialite. You know, like switching all these different hats. Whereas now, again, consolidated in on myself, I just wear one. I just get to be me. I have all these other experiences, but my monster is me. Me and my monster are best friends. When I was going through my divorce, it was my monster that ended up saving me. Because like I chose to aggressively adapt and overcome situations that I would find myself in. But I did it with a smile because I knew that whatever this thing that I was choosing to harness with purpose this time, that's the key. Harnessing it with purpose, with drive, with direction, moving forward. That's my direction. You know what I'm saying? Taking advantage of, again, long dormant assets and skills that I should have been making use of the entirety of my life. And again, just having that nuanced control and understanding that this is a rather large part of me and that I'm going to actively take advantage of that instead of considering it something that I needed to disassociate with, if that makes sense. So like, again, going through the divorce, harnessing that inner monster to allow myself to be me fully, take advantage of everything that I am. And again, the concept is that it has to be all or nothing. No, I can choose to upgrade and let go of whatever skill sets and mind frames that don't suit me. I can do it on a whim. It's a personal choice that I get to make because my monster is me and I am my monster, and we're working together to create a life that we're comfortable living and that other people might want to be a part of. I was talking to my homie, shout out Tommy Gunn, you know what I'm saying? He said one of the most beautiful things I've heard homie say in a long time. He's become his own joy. He said that he mentioned like he might have been scared of his monster, and I'm thinking back, I'm like, man, I love your monster. Your monster is the reason that I'm alive. Your monster chose to spare my monster when he had an opportunity to take him out permanently. You know what I'm saying? Your monster is beautiful. Your monster is probably the reason that all of your people love you for who you are. Your monster is definitely one of the most powerful things that I've ever seen, but it's also kind, gentle, considerate, and merciful. Because again, your monster had the ability to end mine completely, and I'm so thankful that you did it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love you to the death of me, homie. Like, ride or die till the wheels fall off and then some. You know what I'm saying? So like, again, shout out to Tommy Gunn, and I'm glad that he is finding his way back to his monster, because like, man, this dude, just to have known him in my life and like see him progress and like the things that he's done, he's sacrificed things, but it's like to hear that he is finding the love for himself again and that he is being the joy that he desires to have in his life. That's the most beautiful shit I've ever fucking heard, especially from this particular individual. And like, I'm proud that I get to share in those kind of dialogues and discussions with him, you know? So like, shout out again to Tommy Gunn, that's my dog. And you know, again, for all of you out there, you have innate gifts that you can take advantage of, curtail. You can work on strengthening weaknesses, because it's gonna be there whether you acknowledge it or not. So you might as well acknowledge it and take the opportunity to build on it the best that you can. It doesn't have to be as weak as it is. You can have strong weaknesses, that's okay. You know, but again, be who you choose to be. Don't be who you think you need to be to fit in. It's okay to separate yourself and stand apart from a pack. It might be better these days, you know, because people are dying to fit in. You might want to stand out and do something different so that you can be happy with the person that you're looking at and be happy with the choices that you're making in your life so that your choices aren't making you. At points, I allowed choices to make decisions for my life and I hated it. You know, so again, take advantage of those opportunities. Know that your inner monster, it wants you to be happy. It wants you to survive and thrive in a life. Because again, your monster was born with you. It's got all the fun play stuff that you were with too. you're kind of killing it trying to make your life all serious and take things kind of a little bit harder than they need to be. Let your monster thrive, but just don't allow it to run wild. Always too much of a good thing. Moderation is key. So again, just touching base with my experience with my inner monster, my concept of how to befriend that monster and look to it for support. Because essentially it's you. It's the thing that's buried the deepest inside of you. It's at your core. Again, from a childhood to now, this thing has actively been there for me when I needed it most. Why would I try and kill it off and close it up when it's the thing that is probably the biggest, best, brightest part of me? So yeah, just sharing is caring. Shout out to everybody making it this far. I appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button. I would appreciate that. And then, take advantage of the opportunities to conduct yourself in a way fitting of a life that you want to live. Let your inner monster thrive and let it shine and be beautiful. Vibrant, exciting, willing to assist. Wages out.